What is up, fight fans? I am Jason Burgos for Ringside Intel, and I have the great pleasure of getting to speak with the man that has the monumental task of trying to hand pound for pound superstar Terence Crawford the first L of his career in August, and that is the WBA light middleweight champion, Israil the Dream Madrimov. Israil, thanks so much for the time today.
Thank you. Hello. Assalamu alaikum.
I have a bunch of questions. This is a big opportunity for you. So the first question I have is, you are getting this fight in after just 10 professional fights. So there's a belief that there's a big experience gap between you and Terence, but also Terence is moving up in weight. So that also gives you an advantage in terms of size and stuff like that. What do you feel are some of the other big advantages you have over Crawford in this fight, besides being bigger than him?
Кроме того, что он поднимается к тебе.
Да, сейчас у меня очень хороший шанс для сделать историю. И да, везде говорят, что у меня 10 боев. Ну, это 10 боев достаточно, я думаю, чтобы сделать историю. У меня по-любительски много боев, 250 боев, поэтому, иншаллах, я, можно покажу достойный бой и сделаю историю, иншаллах, всем фанатам, всем бокс-фанатам, да, так скажем.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for me, huge opportunity, and experience-wise, yes, I have 10 professional fights, but it's a high quality. All 10 was WBA fights. All 10 were 10-12 rounders, and against a very stiff opposition. And I believe that my experience in amateurs, I have more than 200 international amateur fights. So overall, over 300 amateur fights. With 200 international fights. I have experience being around the world, fighting all the styles and everyone. And again, fighting the great. You wanna achieve the greatness. You have to make the history. When, if not now? Like the opportunity is there. I'm gonna do everything possible to get the victory.
There are many around the sport who believe that Terence is the best fighter in the world, but they also think maybe he has no weaknesses because so many people haven't been able to solve the puzzle that he is. As you scout him and prepare for him, what do you feel are the big weaknesses he has that other opponents just have not been able to exploit?
Yes, sure. Prince Crawford is the best fighter in the world now. And my favorite boxer, because he has have lefting, righting, he have power, smart boxer, but he going my division, because I was really watching inside the ring all fight.
Ring
покажет, да.
Yeah, the ring will show everything. It's hard to predict, but the ring will show everything. On August 3rd, you will see everything.
All right, fair enough. What do you feel is like maybe not weaknesses for Terence Crawford's game, but mistakes that a lot of his opponents maybe make that plays to his strengths? And that, like, in preparing for him, you're like, okay, I can't do this. I have to make sure I don't do this because it just helps him win. What's that big mistake a lot of his foes make?
Он спрашивает, какие ошибки допускают соперники Теренса, не могут, почему никто не может его победить и так далее. Скажи, что боятся еще до боя.
Может, они до боя как-то проиграли, наверное. Я буду готовиться морально тоже и, иншаллах, покажу свой стиль, свой бокс. И хочу выиграть. Все для меня, для семьи это очень важно, потому что сейчас Все ждет от меня победа, поэтому я постараюсь все, что можем делать, да.
You know, it's hard to say. Obviously, he's undefeated, so it's not like you can, you know, put something and say, "Oh, this is what he does wrong" or whatever. Obviously, we have some things that we've been watching. We're not going to talk about it right now. But also with a lot of fighters, I believe that they're losing before even stepping into the ring. You know, they're already kind of like on the downside. When with me, you know, I'm mentally strong. I know what I'm capable of. I know what like how this fight is important for me, for my family, for the legacy, for the whole country. You know, I got a whole country on my back behind me. You know, and everyone support me. So I'm definitely coming out there, and I'm gonna, you know, do everything in my powers to get the victory. My only thoughts are positive thoughts. I know that what I'm capable of.
I'm glad you brought up the home country Uzbekistan, because I was going to ask about there. If you pull off this upset, it's not crazy to say that people will see you as the best boxer ever from Uzbekistan, because Terence Crawford is just such a good fighter. He's an elite fighter, all-time fighter. How important is that to put yourself in a place where you're one of the greatest fighters in Uzbekistan history, but also is this fight getting a lot of attention for you in your home country? And it's because you're facing such a great big fighter. It's been a big deal in Uzbekistan.
Yeah. Now in Uzbekistan, boxing sport is a popular sport. You know, now is a big result, and
Big
then
results.
yeah, result. And then I'm first boxer in history, Uzbekistan history. Is fighting is best fighter in the world, you know, because my country waiting fight support me all time, and then support, как скажем, всегда и поддерживает, сейчас ждет, чтобы войти историю, сделать историю.
It's the first time someone fighting that caliber of a fighter from Uzbekistan, you know, and it's a history in the making. The whole country supports me always, but right now the support is just a different level. Everyone is there. Everyone is talking about this fight, and everyone is, you know, everyone is really expecting for that August 3rd fight.
I'm a guy who covers a lot of mixed martial arts, UFC, and stuff like that. And Uzbekistan has a lot of really good fighters coming into MMA and UFC, a lot in that part of the world, a lot of great wrestlers. Was MMA anything you thought about before you got into boxing when you were younger and wanted to get into fight sports? Was MMA ever a thought, or it was always boxing was your dream?
Really всегда был бокс.
Нет, я просто сначала боролись, вот у нас был борьба, туда ходил, потом футбол, гимнастика, а потом остался с боксом и начал профессионально заниматься, и уже интерес пошел для бокса.
Yeah, you know, early on, it's just started. Everything started for me from wrestling. I would go to wrestling, sambo, judo, and then from there go to gymnastics and then boxing. So at the end of the day, I stick with boxing and started, you know, training every single day, going to the border school, the sports school, and boxing was my priority. So starting. Yeah, starting 10, I started doing specifically boxing and competing and everything and going worldwide from there. So there were never talks or thoughts about something else beside that. I did soccer, gymnastics, a bunch of different sports, you know, but never prioritized them.
Now, like I mentioned, you only have the 10 fights, but you mentioned how you have a ton of amateur experience, international experience, all that kind of stuff. Because whenever someone gets into to a sport like this, they're looking, oh, I'd like to fight that guy, this person one day. When you started this as a professional, or even before you became a professional, was Terence someone you were always looking at as a guy I hope to fight one day, or you just felt I'm much higher weight class than him, he's never gonna make it. I was looking at other people like Canelo or something like that.
Да, не думал я, смотрел я бокс, именно профессиональный бокс, я когда, вот помню, Пакьяо с Маркесом дрался, и Головкин с Канелом дрался, большие бои я смотрел. Внутри думал, я хочу тоже там участвовать, быть, чтобы болели за меня, семья, все, да, так скажем. И вот у меня все получается, и у меня большой шанс сейчас.
You know, when I turned pro, before I turned pro, I wasn't really watching like all the professional fights and stuff like that. You know, I'll be watching only like big fights like Pacquiao Marquez. You know, I would watch all Triple G's fights, like Pacquiao and guys like that. You know, but I wouldn't be paying attention to like all the fights. When I turned pro, I started watching more of it and recognizing some of the greatest. You know, and Terence was one of those guys. I never thought that I'll be like I wanted to fight him or I wanted to fight someone else. You know, it's just like I appreciated and watching him was, you know, picking up some things from him, learning some things from him, you know, always dreaming about one day being on that stage, you know, and people cheering, you know, and my family there, you know, like everyone, and I'm like a big boxing star, something like that, you know, but never really kind of like pay attention to it too much, you know, who I'm gonna fight or stuff like that. Whoever is there, I was ready to fight. Starting my debut, we won at the World Championship fight at the in my debut. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it, so we went for all the sanctioning bodies, you know, trying to get up there in the rankings and stuff like that. So, did I thought that I'm gonna fight him? No. But did I dream about stuff like that? Yes.
Now, if you beat Terence, you're not just going to be a big star, you're going to be a superstar. And when it comes to boxing, it's all about making the big money. So if you beat Terence, you beat the pound for pound best, do you then call out the pound for pound most famous, say, I want Canelo next, I'm going to be Canelo next?
Когда, если ты его побьешь, ты становишься суперзвездой, что ты будешь вызывать Канelo, что пора уже говорить о ней.
Да, конечно, сейчас, как скажем, надо сделать вот этот шанс и сделать историю и зайти pound to pound. И хочу следующий, как скажем, бой с кем это звездами, да, так скажем, может, Канело сейчас уже до меня уже обсуждали, что Канело Кроуфорд. Ну, это пока бой пройдет, потом посмотрим вот это.
Yeah, you know, obviously, everyone's dream is to fight the best names, the best fighters, to get their best opportunities. And you know, I'm thinking about the task ahead of me as Terence Crawford. Obviously, I see all the talks and everything that people are like, oh, Canelo Crawford, talking about those fights. Maybe it's time already now to talk about Madrimov Canelo. You're right. And after the fight, of course, I'm going to look for the biggest fights, and opportunity to fight Canelo is a special one. I would love that one right after Crawford.
Now, last question. Now, this one, just to get your opinion on something. It's a topic in the sport recently, and that's Shakur Stevenson. He's a big fighter. He's a talented fighter. But there's been a lot of people that complain that maybe for some boxing fans, he's boring. Now, you have gotten this big fight. Clearly, Terence Crawford is fighting you. People look at you say, yes, you're an entertaining fighter. You're going to put on a good show. You're going to deliver for fans. What would be your advice to Shakur Stevenson to adjust his fight style that he gets the big fights that he wants and he isn't considered a boring fighter like some think?
Да, он хороший боксер, в Олимпиаде участвовал в Рио-де-Жанейро. Нашим вроде Ахмадалима боксировал, ну, не боксировал, в одном весе они боксировали. У него есть опыт любительский, есть профессиональный. Сейчас хороший боксер. Не смотрю бои. Скучно, не скучно, я не знаю. Ну, что скажу, ну, удачи в боях у него.
You know, it's I know Shakur. Who is he? He's a good amateur boxer. He was in our Olympic Games 2016 with MJ. They were in the same weight class. They lost to same guy, and has a great amateur experience, and obviously already a champion and a couple weight classes. But I can't say anything because I didn't really watch the fight. I haven't seen the fight, so I can't say are they boring, not, or something. All I can say is just I wish him good luck and all the best in his career.